Thank you, Molly. The one and only Tank Davis with me right now, one of the best fighters on the planet Earth. Tank, good to see you. Why this fight? What has he done to deserve to be in the ring against you?
He's a world champion himself. He's coming up and wait to dare to be great. So we fought before, so it's history. It's history in that. There's two guys that's trying to be great.
A lot of people said they talked about y'all background with one another, how familiar you guys are with one another. Talk about that for a second. How well do you know him on a personal level in terms of your associations through the ranks, in terms of your boxing career?
I don't know that, personally,
right.
But through the boxing, we came up together and things like that. We had similar, friends and things like that in the boxing world. We fought before, so I'm familiar with his fighting style and things like that.
Gervonta Davis delivered a chilling message to Shakur Stevenson, and it didn't come with shouting or wild emotion. Instead, his words were measured, precise, and controlled, making the impact even more intense.
And Tank ever linked up in the ring?
Yeah, we sparred before.
Can we ever expect a fight?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's going to be one of the biggest fights in the world.
No cap.
I feel like how they talking about Earl and Bud Crawford, I feel like me and Tank going to be basically 2.0 of that.
Yeah.
Probably even bigger than that. So
that Earl and Bud, who you got?
I think it's a great fight. I ain't going to pick no winner. I'm forever rocking with Bud regardless.
He didn't go on a long speech or try to hype anything up. Instead, he spoke with quiet confidence, presenting it as someone who already knows how the fight will play out before it even starts.
Some of your 135 contemporaries have a lot to say these days. Shakur Stevenson, well, of course, he's now 135 after all that stuff, and then Devin Haney.
Right, so why people even talk like he the best at, he didn't even fight at 135 yet.
Right.
He didn't even have power at 126, 30 or none of that.
He is good.
Okay. How can you, all that's just okay. How can you stop people that can actually hit? No matter all that boxing, you're going to get hit. What you going?
When he speaks about stepping in against top-level fighters, chasing greatness, there's a clear sense of respect in his tone. At the same time, a calm self-belief comes through, as if he's already experienced moments like this and understands exactly how they tend to unfold.
6, 7 more fights and I'm naming names. One of the guys, obviously, you and Shakur got into it on Twitter. You was like, you wanted them 6 or 7.
Yeah, he's definitely one of them.
For sure?
Yeah, he's definitely one of them.
Do you think that's going to be your hardest fight?
Hell no.
Nah?
Wow.
Because he a good boxer. Like, that's when I look at y'all two as the best in the division.
How? Show me something that he did spectacular. Show me something that he did outrageous. Show me.
Right.
His power not outrageous.
Okay.
What defense?
You think he got defense?
He just jumped back. You never see him slip no punch. You never see him slip no punch. Go look at it. You see him back up from a lot of people. Back up, move around. He don't got no technique. And his offense is the same thing. Go look at his fights.
So you feel like that's easy work?
Game,
Yeah, but you feel like it's easy work though. You like,
come on, bro.
He then carefully sets a boundary, pointing out how some fighters bring up sparring stories to shape a narrative ahead of a bout. Within that, there's a clear sense of caution woven into his words. When he explains that this kind of talk only motivates him further, it goes beyond a simple observation. It becomes a direct signal aimed at Shakur, without constantly having to mention him.
So what do you say to those who might be saying that, Tank is afraid of Shakur?
Afraid of what? Afraid of what? Us fighters, if we're afraid of somebody, it gotta be somebody hitting us and hurting us. Like, he don't have no offense. Everything is defense. Defense only win in basketball and football. Don't win in boxing.
He emphasizes that experience plays a key role. Timing is critical, and above all, understanding when the moment is right is what truly counts. In his view, a fighter can possess talent, attention, and technical ability, but stepping into the ring with him presents an entirely different situation. That's the element that really stands out.
the face of boxing, and he get a lot of knockouts that people kind of making it like, if you ain't doing what Tank doing, then they gonna say it's boring. Do you feel like it's because of how his style is that they kind of putting that on you, like wanting you to do that?
People is blessed with different ability. He's blessed with a God-given ability that he crack you, 9 times out of 10, you gonna go down. That's his ability.
Yeah.
I'm blessed with God-given eyes. A lot of people don't understand how good my eyes is. I can see really good. Like punches coming my way, I know how to get away from them.
Right.
At any given time. Our abilities are just different, so they probably are judging me from a scale of him, but at the end of the day, he's a great fighter. He's a special fighter, but I'm special in my own right.
He isn't downplaying Shocker's skill set at all. Instead, he's raising doubts about whether Shakur fully grasps the challenge ahead. It reflects the same mindset he's shown before, composed on the outside, but carrying a serious edge beneath it, like something powerful that doesn't need to be loud to be felt. For Shakur, that message goes beyond simple self-belief. It signals that Tank sees himself as more than just another name on the list. He views himself as the ultimate test.
Everybody thinks that Tank is gonna go in there and just knock out Shakur. It's gonna
That's not gonna happen.
But it didn't take. It shouldn't have taken this fight.
I knew he couldn't.
For people to realize.
Yeah.
Right.
I knew that too. But yeah, Shakur is a defensive specialist.
And I've been saying this for a long time. If you pay attention to how Tank would react whenever Shakur's name came up, I was like, yo, it's something that Tank knows that most people don't know or understand. There's something that he sees in Shakur. It could be the fact that Shakur was a 2016 silver medalist.
While Tank is delivering that composed, deliberate message with the assurance of someone who already envisions the outcome, Roy Jones Jr. enters the conversation and shifts the perspective entirely with his seasoned insight. He isn't raising his voice or reacting emotionally. Instead, he analyzes the situation with the clarity of someone who has witnessed greatness in many forms. So when he states that Shakur Stevenson would defeat Gervonta Davis at this moment, it's not meant as disrespect. It comes across as a calculated assessment.
What Tank has going on outside the ring. But who wins that fight right now, in your opinion?
Right now, Shakur wins it because of his discipline. Because he showed against Teofimo, they can stay very disciplined all night. And he's the type of guy, he don't really do a lot of crazy stuff in his life normally. So it's like discipline is a thing that is not only exercised inside the ring, it's exercised also outside.
Roy Jones Jr. directs his focus toward discipline above everything else. He connects it to both a fighter's actions in the ring and their behavior outside of it, something that often gets overlooked. In his view, Shakur Stevenson competes the same way he carries himself day to day, measured, precise, and efficient, without unnecessary movement or disorder. At the same time, he makes it clear that Gervonta Davis remains a serious threat. However, he points out that distractions beyond the ring can sometimes influence performance inside it, framing it as an issue of concentration rather than ability. He doesn't stop there. He adds that when Davis is fully committed and focused, he becomes a challenge for anyone in the division. That contrast is what makes this matchup feel evenly balanced, with significant stakes attached.
With the fight being like it is right now, I would lean towards Shakur because of his discipline, but don't get it twisted. If somebody could beat him, Tank Davis would be that person because of his intangibles. When Tank is discipline and got his mind on right, Tank's a problem for anybody. Because Tank can fight better than most people think he can. It's just that sometimes his outside antics get the better of him and it makes people think less of him.
One fighter operates with calculated accuracy, while the other brings a level of unpredictability that can end a fight at any moment. Roy Jones Jr. makes it clear that the outcome isn't determined by ability alone. It comes down to the mentality each fighter carries into that specific moment. When he references Shakur Stevenson outclassing Teofimo Lopez, he's highlighting how Stevenson isn't just securing victories, but demonstrating a higher level of understanding against top competition as it unfolds. At the same time, the possibility of Gervonta Davis landing a perfectly timed punch that instantly changes everything remains very real, shifting the entire direction of the fight in seconds. That contrast is what makes this matchup so compelling. It's less about overall superiority and more about which fighter delivers their peak performance when it matters most.
Four division champion already. Still looking to get more. Show that he has all the tools, all the tactics. Stay cool under pressure. Proved a lot of things. Took a good fighter and take him to school. And that's what great fighters do. So it's like, you got to give him his props. Excellent outcome. Had shots out to Teofimo too for taking a fight at that risk at that time in his career, because that was a high risk for Teofimo.
As Roy Jones Jr. lays things out with a focus on discipline versus unpredictability, Terence Crawford steps in with a much more direct and unfiltered take that feels less like analysis and more like a clear statement to everyone watching. He doesn't hold back, openly admitting he doesn't favor Gervonta Davis on a personal level, shifting the tone away from neutral breakdowns into something more tense. Even so, he separates that from his evaluation in the ring, acknowledging Davis's strengths, his power, ability, and ring awareness all receive full recognition. Then he turns the focus to Shakur Stevenson, explaining that his style creates specific challenges. Rather than framing it as one fighter simply being better, he suggests that Stevenson's approach could limit Davis from using his usual strengths effectively. In other words, it raises the possibility that Davis's most dangerous tools might not come into play on fight night.
You know what I'm saying, Shakur, that's the fight. Everybody want to see that. That's the 50-50. I think, you know what I'm saying, I've been saying 50-50. I told both of them that. That's a toss-up to me. No bias. Don't just say that because it's your man. Who you got winning that?
I got Shakur.
Are you saying that because that's your man and you don't like Tank?
No. Hey, like I said, I respect Tank. Like, boxing, he's one of the ones.
Yeah.
We're gonna take his personality and personal things out of it. But boxing, he's definitely talented. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he's definitely got that it. And yeah, he's definitely respected in boxing.
As Roy Jones Jr. lays things out with a focus on discipline versus unpredictability, Terence Crawford steps in with a much more direct and unfiltered take that feels less like analysis and more like a clear statement to everyone watching. He doesn't hold back, openly admitting he doesn't favor Gervonta Davis on a personal level, shifting the tone away from neutral breakdowns into something more tense. Even so, he separates that from his evaluation in the ring, acknowledging Davis's strengths, his power, ability, and ring awareness all receive full recognition. Then he turns the focus to Shakur Stevenson, explaining that his style creates specific challenges. Rather than framing it as one fighter simply being better, he suggests that Stevenson's approach could limit Davis from using his usual strengths effectively. In other words, it raises the possibility that Davis's most dangerous tools might not come into play on fight night.
But Shakur is a different fighter. You know, Shakur is different. You know, people may call him boring. People may say he can't punch. But they say the same thing about Floyd. Because they defensive fighters.
Yeah.
Tank is not going to be able to hit Shakur like he hit everybody else. And he know that. I will pick Shakur because I don't believe Tank will be able to land those big shots on Shakur like he does everybody else.
Right.
Shakur defense is just too...
As Terence Crawford presents his analysis in a calm, controlled manner, suggesting that Gervonta Davis could be forced into missing and chasing openings if Shakur Stevenson finds his rhythm. The discussion quickly expands into a broader debate led by the Porter Way podcast crew. Different opinions surface immediately. One side speaks with full conviction, believing Stevenson has what it takes to win, while another counters just as strongly, arguing that Davis hasn't yet shown his absolute peak form. That idea of an unfinished version of Davis becomes the most controversial talking point, sounding far-fetched to some but believable to others. The conversation then shifts into a deeper technical breakdown rather than a simple disagreement. It becomes less about toughness and more about rhythm and timing. Some argue that Stevenson's defensive structure and consistent output could control a 12-round fight, while others insist Davis doesn't need high activity. Just one clean opening to change everything. And that brings everything back to the central tension. A clash between technical precision and patience versus explosive power waiting for a single decisive moment to change the entire fight.
Tank Davis, all he takes is one shot. He's a very patient fighter. He doesn't throw a lot of shots, but every shot he throws, he makes them count.
I said that's the best chess match in boxing.
Definitely.
I was getting ready to say, I'm going with Tank in 12.
He stops him in 12?
No.
Just
decision. Huh?
12-round decision.
He stops. I got him stopping Shakur 11.
Then Andre Ward steps in with a veteran's perspective, focusing on those what-if scenarios that can't be measured in stats or highlights. That instantly changes the tone of the discussion, shifting it away from pure technique and into uncertainty, what hasn't been seen yet inside the ring. He raises the idea of what would happen if Shakur Stevenson is caught cleanly for the first time. Not a light touch or partial shot, but a precise, fight-altering connection delivered with the timing and force associated with Gervonta Davis. The conversation also circles back to Davis's experience against fighters like Rolando Romero, using those moments as evidence that he has already been tested in difficult situations and managed to adapt under pressure. At the same time, Stevenson is described as so composed and technically controlled that the real question becomes how he would respond if his rhythm is disrupted for the first time. From there, predictions start flying in every direction. Stoppage outcomes, decision wins, even draws, with no clear consensus forming. That uncertainty only amplifies the scale of the matchup. When it's labeled as one of the biggest fights in boxing, it's not exaggeration. It reflects the reality of two completely different approaches colliding. One fighter aims to dictate the pace, while the other refuses to be drawn into it. And at its core, it stops being just a physical contest and becomes a battle of minds as much as fists.
Well, when I look at the way both fighters box, I think it's a match made in heaven. It's the match made in heaven.
Now I close my eyes and I'm thinking, I'm watching Shakur fight, man. Those more punches than Tank.
That could be a problem for him.
It could be a problem for him. And the thing about it is, his defense is good. And if it goes the distance, you said.
When you take a step back and examine the full picture, the discussion around Gervonta Davis versus Shakur Stevenson moves far beyond a basic prediction of who wins. It becomes a far more complex contrast of styles and ideas. Davis is often described as operating like a finisher, patient, composed, and waiting for the exact moment to close the fight instantly once an opening appears. On the other side, Stevenson is portrayed as someone who controls space and pace with intelligence, breaking down elite opponents through timing and structure, almost as if he's several steps ahead of the situation. Adding to the debate, voices like Roy Jones Jr. emphasize the importance of discipline in determining outcomes. Meanwhile, Terence Crawford suggests that Davis's most dangerous strength may never even come into play depending on how the fight unfolds. At the same time, insights like those from Andre Ward highlight how a single clean moment can completely reshape expectations in an instant. What emerges is a situation where no single viewpoint fully dominates. Each argument carries weight, yet none are absolute. The conversation is no longer centered on records or highlight reels. It becomes a question of identity inside the ring. Does technical precision ultimately neutralize raw power, or can explosive force disrupt flawless execution? That tension is what defines this matchup, and it's why the discussion feels bigger than titles or rankings. At its core, it represents a deeper reflection on what elite-level boxing truly is.
Yeah, y'all don't nobody want to hear draw, but it's gonna be, and this is gonna be a straight up.
I got an 11-round stoppage by Tank.
If he don't stop him, what you gonna give it?
I got Tank 8-4.
He says draw. I say Shakur throws more punches.
Our guest is on the line.
If we go 12 rounds, I think Shakur got it.
One moment, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Shakur got it. If it goes 12.
Yeah.
Because he throws more punches.
Share your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear where you stand on this. And if you enjoyed the breakdown, make sure to like the video, share it with others, and subscribe for more. Catch you in the next one.